Hello, friends. Beer's good. Okay, this week I'm reviewing Jonah Hex. I know a lot of you are just gonna. A lot of you have already turned off this video. You're gone. You haven't even watched it after I said that. A lot of people say it's one of the worst movies ever made, and me and many of you have commented on this, saying it's a problem of mine that I always give positive reviews, or I always talk about the best in the movie, not the negatives. And I do that, and I'm going to do that. I can't help it. I try to find the good in movies. I was very excited about this film, even after I heard it did horribly, because a lot of times those horrible films are the ones that I tend to like. But I was excited about this because of the comic books. These are just 3 trades that I have. Jonah Hex has been around since the 70s. He first appeared in All-Star Western or something back in 71, and he's been in Weird Western Tales and all kinds of stories in DC Comics for years. I've just started getting into some of the more recent comics. Those trades, there's about 10 of them, that written by Jimmy Palmiotti and drawn by Justin Gray. I really like the comics. They're great Western comics, and I'm not even into Westerns. I don't know what it is about that comic format with Jonah Hex. I really enjoy it. There's so much history to him, I could talk about it forever, but I'm not going to. They made the movie. It was based on those current comics, pretty much, that Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray that they've created for DC. And directed by Jim Hayward, I think it is. He was actually interesting. Fact, or interesting little tidbit here. He was an animator for Disney. Worked on Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2, bunch of others. He left Disney or whatever and got hired to direct this movie. This movie, Jonah Hex, opened on the same day as Toy Story 3. So what you knew just blew it the fuck out of the water. So why would anything go up against Toy Story 3? Jonah Hex stars Megan Fox, John Malkovich, Josh Brolin as Jonah Hex, and it's the story of he is an old Western cowboy, and this general played by Malkovich kills his whole family, so he's out for revenge. That's the pretty much overall plot. In this film, what they do is they use some of the story of Jonah Hex being supernatural, which I guess happened more around the 70s and 80s, maybe even 90s in the comics. I never read those, so I don't know, because that's not what's going on in the current ones. It's more realistic. But he can talk to dead people, if somebody, a fucking bag of bones in the ground, he can touch it, and then that dead person has to talk to him while he's touching it. When he lets it go, that dead person goes back to being dead. That kind of threw me off of the movie, for one, and while Jonah Hex is hunting this general, the weapons that they're all using are something out of, Star Wars or something. It's I don't even understand why they thought... Well, first off, let me say, it had that director. It had 7 writers credited to this film. So, there's the first problem right off. You know when you see that, you're going to have an issue. Unless it's an animation film or something, or some old property that has other... But, I think there were literally at least 6 writers that, worked on this film that either got fired or taken off or whatever. I saw interviews with Josh Brolin during, and I saw people asking him about it. We hear this movie's kind of a train wreck. It's it's been delayed. You guys are way over budget, this and that. And he still tried to really promote the film. He said there have been issues, that we're just trying to make the best movie we can. He played a really good Jonah Hex. And in a different film, I think it would have been amazing. That character is such a good Western hero / anti-hero. He's out to kill people, but he really tries to do good in the end, kind of thing. Almost like a Dexter or something, I don't know. But Josh Brolin he did do a good job. He didn't have a lot to work with. The plot was kind of flimsy. They threw in all kinds of random things that they thought would be cool. And you know what's weird is with this Western, it's rated PG-13, and a lot of people will say, oh, it should have just been rated R, they should have went hardcore Western R. There have been quite a few Western films over the last few years, rated R or PG-13, and as long as they stick to the Western roots, they're fine. I think DC really missed an opportunity with this to make something out of the Jonah Hex character. I don't want to say a franchise, as in he was going to have tons of movies, but I think they could have had a few out of this. John Malkovich, to me, he was an alright villain. Sometimes he's totally misused. I have weird thoughts about him anyway, only because, like, some people love him in certain roles that I don't like him in, and then other people, like in Con Air, everybody makes fun of him for having that role. I think that's one of his best villains, Cyrus the Virus. So, John Malkovich is great. I don't know that he necessarily needed to be in this. Megan Fox, everybody puts her down. I liked her in Jennifer's Body as an actress. She was a good villain and creepy, and they didn't need her in this. They didn't need that character that she plays in this. So, the movie was a train wreck. It was kind of, I don't know what they were going for, but I think they just really jacked it up along the way. There are some, if you're a fan of Jonah Hex, check it out. If you're not, you might enjoy it as a fun popcorn movie, but because I'm a fan of the comics, I saw all the missed potential. Now, the two things I did want to bring up for you is that in this DVD, Superman Shazam, DC has been coming out with these movies, the animated original series, for quite a while now. They have 3 shorts on here. Green Arrow, The Spectre, and Jonah Hex, which are all great, but the one I just want to talk about is Jonah Hex. This is what Jonah Hex should have been. That little 12-minute short. He's voiced by Thomas Jane, who actually dressed up as Jonah Hex and did an audition for this movie before the movie went all crazy and had all these different writers and everything, and then I heard he kind of backed out. But it's just that's the way a Jonah Hex film should be made, and seeing that, it's a cartoon obviously, but seeing that animated short made me realize that maybe they need to put Jonah Hex in on like something of an Adult Swim type thing. Like, I don't know about like Cartoon Network, but maybe even like HBO or Showtime or something. Like, I don't know why they don't have an animation type hour or something every, 1 week, one night a week or something like that. It's just really gritty, really raw, and really what Jonah Hex should be. Not like winking at the camera as they're making jokes or having the dumb one-liners along the way. I think that's the way to go. Also, the second thing I wanted to bring up with Jonah Hex is DC, many of you know, just redid their whole comic line. They just restarted the whole universe, pretty much. And they came out with the New 52, which is, when it first came out in the month of September, it had 52 brand new issues. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, all that. All started at #1. They got rid of the Jonah Hex comic, but they basically came back out with All-Star Western, which, like I said, was from the 60s and 70s, and it stars Jonah Hex. In the first issue arc, it's with Dr. Arkham, who, obviously, Arkham Asylum, Batman, many people will get that reference, but he's in Gotham City, and he's trying to track one of the first serial killers that ever existed, killing all these prostitutes and random people. Really cool story. They kind of take him out of the West. They put him in a city, but it's still during that West, the Old West time. Really good Western. It's just cool to see him do it. The writers were kind of iffy about switching over to that, but they decided to do it, and now I've read interviews with them. They really enjoy it, and it's what Jonah Hex should be. Like, you can move him around. Like, I kind of equate him to a, almost like a Lobo or sometimes Wolverine, but he's like such a cool character that DC can never really figure out what to do with. And with Palmiotti and Gray, they did. The great Western comic, awesome. But when they try to throw him into some random team-up with Batman or some dumb shit like that, it just doesn't work. He's an Old West character. Write those stories for him. And as far as a movie goes, I don't think they need to make a sequel of this. I kind of hope they don't. If they did, just restart it and make a Western movie like True Grit or something. Just make a real Western, or Unforgiven, and have it with Jonah Hex and go that route. That's my opinion, and my ideas are worth millions of dollars, so I don't know why you wouldn't listen to me. Until next week, Coffee Doug. Thanks for watching.